and happy Valentine's weekend. Welcome to our virtual Paint and Sip event hosted by T-Bay Arts Center. My name is Angela and I am the development coordinator here at T-Bay, and it is a pleasure for me to be joining you this evening. On behalf of T-Bay, thank you again for joining us. Our mission is to support underserved Milwaukee youth by providing them with access to vital arts education and mentorship opportunities. Every dollar that we have raised throughout this evening and through ticket sales provides support to our arts programming and ensures a productive and safe environment for our students. So far, T-Bay has served over 3,000 Milwaukee youth. And we want to say a huge thank you to everyone who purchased a ticket or who donated towards this evening. These donations are ensuring that we can continue our mission and impact the lives of many more kids in our community. Research shows that students with a low socioeconomic status are 3 times more likely to earn a bachelor's degree if they have art experience. Yet Wisconsin ranks 50th in the nation on a per capita scale for funding for the arts. That's why your dollars are making an incredible difference. Thank you. Before we get started with the painting, I have a few housekeeping items that I would like to go over. We will be monitoring the chat if you have any questions, so we encourage you to ask any questions about the art making process or about T-Bay if you are interested. There will also be a 5-minute break in the middle of painting. For our friends on Facebook Live, we are going to put a donate link in the chat, as well as our friends on Google Meet. So we encourage you, if you feel in the spirit at any point during the demonstration, to go over and give a gift to T-Bay and support our mission. Also, to our friends on Google Meet, we do ask, as etiquette, that you mute your mics by clicking the microphone button below if you haven't already. And we do ask that you switch to portrait mode to get the best viewing experience. And the way that you're going to do that is you're going to click those 3 dots on the far right hand side, and you're going to click layout, and you're just going to hit portrait, and then you should get the best viewing experience for your demonstration. Thank you again for joining us. I would also like to give a special shout out to our sponsors, Trader Joe's, Pick and Save, Goody Gourmet's, and Sensational K's, all of which their products can be found in your VIP kits. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Daniel Cha, our resident teaching artist and our instructor for the evening. Take it away, Daniel.
Hey everyone, hopefully everybody is doing well for the night and staying warm. I am your instructor for the night. Again, my name is Daniel. You guys can call me Dan as well, that's totally fine with me. Just what Angela explained, so if you guys, as I'm going through our demo for the night, if there are any questions or anything that, if I'm going too fast, if I'm having like a Bob Ross moment where you guys just aren't getting it, feel free to ask me, shoot me questions right away, and I will do my best to answer and explain anything that I'm doing here for the night. Cool? So hopefully everyone has their kit ready. I just want to confirm, so just before I start, I want to confirm, and you guys can confirm on the chat, just say yes, you're ready, or just type in yes, that we have our paints, that we have our brushes, and then we have our water cup ready, okay? Once you guys can confirm on the chat, I will go ahead and start. And again, if you haven't confirmed already, I'll just make sure you guys confirm in the chat. Just type in yes that you're ready, and then once I get the cue, we're going to go ahead and start our painting for the night.
Could you tell them, our Google Meet folks, should just pay attention to Google Meet. They don't have to worry about Facebook Live.
Okay. So make sure you guys just pay attention to the Google Meet and don't worry about the Facebook Live. But the Google Meet is where you want to be for the demo.
You can communicate with us in the chat.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go over just some quick instructions and pointers just before we get started with our paints here. Again, make sure our main focus of the night, make sure you guys have a palette knife. Your colors, you can keep your colors in your cups, right? You guys don't have to pour it out like I already have on the plate. Mine is already on the plate, but if you guys can use the color just from the little 2-ounce cups that we already have the paint poured in there for you. So you guys can just take color straight from there and then onto your mixing plate. You guys should have at least 2 mixing plates to use. And then I'm going to go through my brushes. So for the brushes for tonight, you guys should have a brush about this size, and then somewhat of a smaller brush. And then either this brush size can work. I'll be using this one, but otherwise, I know a lot of you guys got about like a size 8, which is going to be about maybe a little bit smaller than what I have right here, right? But otherwise, those brushes will work, but our main focus of the night will be our palette knife. And then if you guys, you guys should also have a cup for water for mixing and washing out our brushes, okay? And then I'm going to introduce our project tonight. So our project is going to somewhat look like this. This is somewhat sort of a mock-up. So I'm going to explain here. You guys are going to be doing you guys are going to do 1 painting, but then your other significant other, or if you're single, you're going to be doing 1. But your significant other is going to be working on a painting similar to yours. So the project here is 1 person is going to be working on a cool color theme, while the other person is going to be working on a warm color theme. Okay? Do we all understand that? So cool colors is just going to be consisting of mostly blues, pinks, and then white. While the warm color, which the other person is going to be working on, is going to be consisting of your reds, yellows, and orange. Okay? So right now decide that at this moment, or which person is working on which, just so that you guys aren't just working on the same color system here. So make sure this project works best if you have 2 different color systems. So you guys going to be working on, someone's going to be working on one side, while the other person's going to be working on this side. I know I'm just holding, this is just like a mock-up, but the 1 person for this whole, if you guys can see my whole canvas here, 1 person, this whole entire canvas here is going to be painted the cool colors, while the other person working on their other whole canvas is going to be painting on the warm colors. So so that no one gets that confused, I don't want you guys to flip your painting, you guys are working on 2 different paintings at the same time. It's just like, just to serve as an example, so just so that no one gets that mixed up. Cool? So, as I'm explaining through the steps for our project for tonight, so hopefully everyone's decided on what color system or what cool color theme that you guys are working with, because I'm going to go ahead and start mixing here.
I have a question coming in from
Yes.
Barbara Green. She says, I don't have pink or orange paint.
Yep, we're going to be mixing paints. That's why your palette knife is going to be your key mixer right here. Okay? So again, we're going to be mixing our colors, and then we're going to be laying down the paint onto our canvas. Any other questions before I get started? I want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Just a reminder, you might be experiencing a 30-second delay as this is a live stream. Thank you.
Okay. Alright, so if there's no other further questions, we're going to get started here. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth between the warm colors and cool colors. So I'm going to be showing the cool colors first. And the three colors that we're going to be needing for our cool colors is we're going to be mixing a pink, and then we're just going to be using a regular blue, a phthalo blue that we already have here. So we don't need to do anything to the blue, but we're going to need to make a pink. So to make a pink, which is going to be on our mixing plate, what you guys are going to do is you're going to grab if you're doing the warm colors, then you don't need to be mixing at this point. But I want to lay that down first because I'm going to be making a pink first, and then I'm going to jump back to the warm color, and we're going to mix our colors for the warm color. So hopefully everyone understands that. So once I lay down my red, we're going to need to wipe out or wipe down. Hopefully you guys have napkins next to you guys. We're going to need to wipe down our palette knife, and you don't want to get off. You want to press the napkin and wipe down, take out all the color, and make sure that your palette knife is nice and clean. Because we don't want to be mixing our colors as we're grabbing colors from one of our color pigments. But the next color that I'm going to pick up is going to be white. So I have some white here, and we're going to just go ahead and mix in the white and red. And how I mix it is you're just mixing it in, just try to keep your colors in. I'm just trying to keep my colors all in one area. And again, feel free to ask me any questions if you guys have any. But this is my pink here, and now I'm going to be jumping to the warm color. So for the people that are doing the warm colors, so the color that we need to make is going to be an orange. I'm pretty sure a lot of us, hopefully we all know how to make an orange. But we're going to be mixing our yellow and red together here. Okay? I'm going to, actually, so we're going to be needing mixing orange here. So we're going to grab some of our yellow. And just lay it down on our plate here. Oh, and one thing I totally forgot to explain here is make sure you guys, I know a lot of us, when we're painting, some of us have to cover your whole entire canvas here. But I just want So the people that are working on the warm color theme, that's what I'm mixing right now. Does that answer the question, or?
Would you like me to hold this up?
Yeah.
Warm colors.
And our finished product, so the spouses, you guys are going to this. Are there any other questions before I move on? Does that answer people's questions?
Yes, they're just asking that you leave the picture up on the easel just to reiterate that, reinforce that idea.
Cool.
There are two separate canvases.
Yep.
One person picks cool, one person picks
Warm.
warm.
Okay, so again, remember, so for the people that are working on the warm colors, hopefully we have our orange mixed out right here. So I have my orange here mixed out. And right now, the first half of our painting, we're just going to be focusing on getting the colors that we need. So it's all going to be pre-mixing, and we're not going to be painting anything as of yet. And I'm going to stay on the warm colors. So after we're done mixing a warm color, what we're going to need is a red magenta. So the red magenta is going to be something like this. You guys can see my plate here. I did like some pre-mixing already. But to mix our magenta, we're going to need mostly red. So your color is going to consist of mostly red and then just a little bit of the blue here. Just be careful, the blue is pretty strong. So you have to mix the right balance to get mostly red. So they have a mostly of a red, but it's like a purple, okay? So magenta and purple, they're the same term, but purple is more of a simpler term for the color magenta. But you mostly want like a reddish purple, okay? Not so much of a purple. Purple sits more on the cool side here. If you guys can see here on my painting up here, this sits more like a red tone, right? It's not so much of a purple, but it has a reddish, mostly red and a little bit of blue. So go ahead and do that for the people that are working on the cool or warm color. So go ahead and grab some red. I'm gonna wipe off my palette knife here. And I'm getting paint over my fingers. And now I have my red laid out. This is still for the people that are working on the warm color. I'm going to grab just a little bit of blue, which is just the tip of my knife, or depending on how much paint you're using. And all you're going to do is just mix in the blue.
As a reminder, we are asking everyone joining us on Google Meet to mute their mics by just selecting that mic button at the bottom of your screen until it turns red. Thank you so much.
So you guys can see here for my color, you see how the blue is kind of overtaking the red a little bit, this is starting to turn more of a purple than it is more of a red. So I'm going to wipe down my palette knife again, and I'm going to add a little bit more red, just to get a good consistency of the color that I'm trying to go for here. So I'm going to get some more red. I'm going to go ahead and just mix that in, just so we have more of a red, a warmer color here. Because the blue is kind of quite powerful. Otherwise, something around this is like good enough. So I have like my red tone here. So we have our two colors now for our warm colors. For the cool colors, all we needed was pink. Okay, that was the only color we needed to mix for our cool color. So for the people that are doing the cool colors, you do have it a little bit easier. All you had to mix was pink.
We have a question in Google Meet. Can
Yes,
you
what is the
go
question?
over the last color?
Yep.
The camera went out.
So for the cool colors, all we need is to mix a pink, and then we just need our base blue, which we already have. We didn't need to mix anything for that. And then we just need a white. That's the three colors you need for the cool colors. For the warm colors, you need orange, and then you need the red, which is the red magenta. So it's not so much of a purple, but it's similar to a purple, but it sits more on the red scale, on the warmer side. Okay? And then the bottom here is going to be white. So those are the three colors for the warm color, people that are doing the warm color. Is there any other questions before I move on? So there's not any other questions right now. So I'm going to go ahead and move on. And again, I'm going to be painting the cool colors. So the people that are doing the cool colors, I'm going to be laying the colors down, and then I'm going to jump right to the warm colors. All right? So what we need to do is, for the cool colors, blue is going to sit up here, and in the center here that we mixed our pink, it's going to sit right here, and then the white's going to come down here. Okay? So how I'm going to do this, I'm going to grab my blue first. The blue is pretty powerful. So just to warn you guys don't need that much blue. The good thing about blue is we can always add blue if we need more. But then if we add too much blue in the beginning, we can't take it away, right? It's going to overpower the whole entire canvas. So I'm going to grab about this much blue here. I'm going to estimate here, but I'm going to lay it right in the center of our canvas here. That's all you need to do is just lay it down in the center. Just kind of brush off, kind of wipe down any excess paint off the knife onto the canvas. That's the first step for the people that are painting the cool colors. For the people that are painting the warm colors, so again, remember, I'm jumping back and forth. So now for the warm color people, put your red magenta on top with the thing where I put my blue. Okay? Your magenta is going to sit right up here like this. So my Yisha is also working on the side with me, so it isn't just magically appearing. And now for the next color is going to be pink. So the pink that we mixed for the cool colors, so I'm jumping back to the cool color here. We're going to grab our pink, and we're just going to lay it here in the center of our painting. Okay? Grab as much pink as you can. If you did not mix enough pink, you can always mix more. So don't worry if the pink that you laid on your canvas right away, like it didn't cover your whole canvas. Like, don't worry about it. You can always mix more pink, right? I'm just letting you guys know, blue, pink, and then down here is going to be your white. So I'm wiping off my palette. Wipe off your palette as best as you can. I'm going to grab my white paint, and I'm going to grab a good chunk of it. This is still for the people that are for the cool colors. You're going to lay down your white on the bottom here. So for the warm colors, on the center of your canvas, you're going to lay down your orange. Okay, so Maisha's doing that right now. People that are working on the warm colors, your orange is going to come right in the center here. Are there any questions at this point before I move on? So we have our three colors, the cool colors: blue, pink, white. Warm colors, a red, magenta, orange, and white.
Daniel, could you go over the magenta color again?
Okay, to make your red magenta, is you're going to be mixing red and blue. To make more of a reddish magenta, make sure you add more red than there are blue. The blue is pretty powerful. That's why you just mix a little bit at a time. Just take a little bit of the blue, just the tip of it, the tip of the knife, and then you want to mix it into the red. Okay? So when you mix it to the red, you have this sort of magenta color. Okay, so if there are no any questions at the moment, next is going to grab a brush, your biggest size brush. I mean, I think you guys have about this size, maybe a little bit just smaller than this one, but grab the biggest size brush that you have there in your kit. You want to make sure you water down your brush, so make sure you dip your brush into the water cup. And after your brush is nice and wet, you want to start from the bottom up, okay? How we're going to be painting. So from the bottom, we're going to go ahead and spread our white. And don't worry if the whole entire white doesn't cover the surface of your canvas. You guys can always add a little bit more white. But here I'm spreading it, and then I'm going to start the color blend. The pink that we have here. So blend that in. I'm going back and forth, left and right. And what I can do too, I could go vertical, just so I can drag up some of my white paint. And then I'm going back and forth again. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm blending in my white in the pink. And then I'm bringing up my color up here. For the people that are working on the warm colors, you guys can go ahead and do the same thing. I know that right now I'm painting on the cool colors, but it's the same technique, right? Bottom all the way up to the top. And then you're going to blend in to your blue. Okay? So it's going to go back and forth. And remember just to take your time on this. This isn't like a race. So just take your time. Just do your best to blend in all the colors here. And I'm going to go vertical again, just to drag some of the pink up. I'm just dragging some of the pink up, and then I'm going back and forth. Okay. If you guys need to add more colors onto your canvas, then go ahead. Like say that maybe you didn't add enough pink in the center, you guys can add more pink. If you guys want more blue on the top, you guys go ahead and just grab your palette knife. You guys can just scoop up some more blue. Like if I want more blue up here, I can just go ahead and lay it back up here with more blue. I mean, I already have too much blue on it, but I'm just doing this as an example. And I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of fill it up again. Okay, just going back and forth. Just making sure that we capture our lights and darks. And then I'm just going ahead and going back and forth, and I'm just blending in the background. Because what we're creating here is our sky, our sunset. Are there any questions at this point? So I'm gonna pause it right here. You guys, I'm gonna wait till everybody finishes up. Once you're done painting on your canvas, you guys are gonna get a good, how long was the break is? 5?
5 minutes.
Okay, 5 to 10 minutes, because we're gonna need to let our paint to sit and dry, right? Depending on how much paint you add onto your canvas. Say that, because for me, I didn't add too much, but I added just enough where it covered the surface of my paint. But we're gonna let our paint dry for about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, we'll give it about that much time. So you guys can go ahead and finish up. I'm stopping right here. Then I'm taking this break. I'm leaving right here. I'm not gonna do anything anymore until everybody's in one place. And then once Mayusha is done with her one color, I know this is just a cool color side. Once Mayusha is done with her one color, she's gonna set her canvas back up here so everyone can see the two canvases at the same time. So for those of you that are still finishing up painting, just once again, you guys can take a good 5 to 10 minute break. Go ahead and grab a snack, get something to drink, relax. You know, hopefully you guys are enjoying yourself so far, because I know that I am. Just clean off my knife here.
So we're gonna catch everybody up who just hopped on the Google Meet. I believe Janet has needs a little help. Janet, can we see your canvas and your palette? Nanette, did you just join us? Okay, we'll catch you up as well. Janet, are you there?
Okay.
Okay. So if you click the little 3 dots on your right side, click change layout? You don't have it. What type of device are you on? Okay. Are you on a phone, tablet, an iPad?
I think the iPad should be able to do the same thing. I think so. Because he's trying to get this RB, correct?
Okay. We'll try to figure out how to get him back on the screen for you. Nanette, are you gonna pick the warm colors or the cool colors?
Yep. The cool colors is on this left side. The warm colors is on the right.
So that will be the cool colors. We'll walk you through those colors one more time, okay? While everyone is catching up.
Okay. So if you're going to be working on the cool colors is going to consist of just blue, pink, and then white. So for the blue color that you guys have in your little tub, the little cup, you guys can just leave the blue in there. You guys don't have to pour it out like I have it on my plate. But I just have it on my plate so you guys can see all the colors of what I'm doing, how I'm doing it. But we want to mix a pink.
That should be okay.
So to get a good mixture of pink, is you're going to use your palette knife. This is your mixing, pretty much think of it your mixing tool. For the palette knife, you're going to grab some of your white paint. So I have some of the white. I'm going to lay it down. And then I'm going to grab some of the red. Grab some of the red here. Then I'm going to go ahead and mix it into my white. So we get a nice, just so we get a nice pink. And that's the only color you need for the cool colors. Now I'm just going to quickly explain for the warm colors again. Just in case, just for those that are just jumping on with us. If you're working on a warm color theme, your colors is going to consist of a red magenta, and then orange, and then white. Okay, so make sure you mix. There's two colors, so you do like for people working on the warm colors, you're doing and working on an extra step. But the two colors you have here that I've mixed, it's going to be red and yellow. Red and yellow makes your orange here, and then red and blue, but you're going to be mixing. The trick here with the blue is very powerful, so make sure you mix a little at a time with the blue. If you grab too much blue and you try to mix with the red, it's going to just be a straight up, straight up purple, but then on the cool side, where it has, the cool side means it's going to sit more on a blue scale. So we want it to sit more on the warm side, which is going to be adding mostly red. So just take a little bit of the blue and then mix it into red. So make sure you grab some of your red, lay it down on your mixing plate, and then you're going to grab just a little bit of blue, and then you're going to go ahead and mix it in there to get your nice red magenta here. Again, if there's any questions, feel free to ask me. It's always so funny that, this is like my first time doing like a virtual paint. I've done and taught other paint nights, but not being able to hear people's voices or being able to interact with you guys personally on a personal level, it feels a little bit different. But hopefully everyone is on the same page and that I'm not moving too fast here as well. So just let me know if I'm moving too fast. I'll go ahead and slow it down a couple notches. But once you guys finish your painting, just make sure you guys just let it sit. You guys can chillax, take a few drinks, grab a snack, talk amongst yourselves. But we're just going to be letting our paint sit and dry. My painting's almost dry. It's still a little bit damp. So we're gonna wait until it's completely dry. And this is pretty much your break. So once your painting is done, just the sky, well, just pretty much your break. Just let it sit, and then that's like your break time right there, your 5-10 minutes. All right, guys, it's 7:50. Just want to welcome everyone back. Just before we move on, can we just do like a little showcase of what we all have so far on the screen? I'm gonna be stepping off just because like I can't see you guys at all. But I'm gonna be stepping off just so I can see you guys' work in progress so far. Is that cool? You guys can just hold it up on the screen. I'm gonna step up the camera and see how everyone's work looks like. Cool, nice. Awesome. All your works look marvelous, at least from what I see on the screen. Okay, so just a tip so far. If you guys can, I mean, you guys want to make sure you guys can blend your colors in the background. If you guys ever want to add more in the background, so like since I know that I'm going to be giving the next demo, the next steps to do our painting, you guys can always go ahead and adjust your background if you guys want. If you guys want to blend your colors in better, you guys can go ahead and work on that. The best way to blend it better is just to keep going back and forth as you're mixing colors. So I mean, my canvas is dry now, but otherwise, if I'm laying down more colors on my canvas, you want to make sure you get a good mixture. So you don't want to just have like one solid red or one solid pink, but you kind of want to blend in, bring in some of the blue, and then when you bring in some of the pink, you guys will get like a really nice, faded purple that's happening, right? So as you can see here in my canvas here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you guys will get like a nice hue of a purple that's happening between, because you have these two colors here, the blue and the pink, are kind of combining right here, right? So you guys will get like these really nice subtle moments within your sky. So just want to give that as a tip, just in case you guys are trying to figure out, you know, how am I blending colors together. I'm just going back and forth, you know, constantly, just to make sure I get the nice mixture within the sky here. Okay. But I'm going to be moving. Be using our smaller brush. The smallest brush that you guys have in your kit, that's the brush that we're going to be using. Because what we're going to be painting is we're going to be painting the background, which is going to be just the stars. And it's the simplest stuff. Hopefully it's easy for everyone. I'm just going to be grabbing some of my white here, and we're just going to be painting just dots. We're just going to be making dots. And if Bob Ross was here, he would call it happy stars. But go ahead and just do randomly. You're just poking at the canvas, right? Just like what I'm doing here. I'm just poking at the canvas, just grabbing some more white, and you guys can go ahead and do the same thing. There's really no specific technique, but all you're doing is kind of jabbing or poking at your canvas, and you're just placing the dots everywhere. It's really random. You can do like some bigger marks, you can do some very tiny marks. You guys can go into more of a detail. You guys want to make your stars like really small. If you do different variations of your star, you will create more of a perspective within the back, right? You have some stars coming down, some stars fading into the background, right? It creates more of a depth within your canvas. So that's what you guys can do here. Get to the edge, get to the corner. And until you think that you got enough stars, you can go ahead and stop. If you think you don't have enough stars, you can keep adding more. I'm going to add just a couple more here. I'm going to stop there, and I'm just going to wash out my brush. Some small brush later. Okay, I'm just going to let everybody finish that up first. Once you guys have that finished, you guys can just type in yes in the chat, or you guys can just say yes. Angela will give me the cue of when to move on. I don't want to move on ahead of anybody that's still working. So I'm going to stop right here. Just give a little shout out of a yes that you're ready to move on to the next step, and I'll move on from there.
As a reminder, we're keeping everyone on mute, so please either type in the chat or make a visual cue, like a thumbs up, if you are done and ready to move on to the next step. Thank you. Jeremiah is still waiting for his to dry.
Understood.
He's showing off his dance moves, so that's good.
If only we had like music. We're all,
Get some like soft
maybe-
jazz
maybe-
going.
yes.
Alright.
Break the silence, the awkward silence.
Okay, I think we might be ready to move on.
All right, so now we're gonna be moving on to our next step. So this next step here is gonna require, right? It's gonna require your significant other, or if you're painting by yourself and you're just doing one painting by yourself, right? Then that's okay. But if you guys can see here on the top here, right? We're gonna be working on the trees, the silhouette of the trees, or the shadows of the trees. So this is just gonna be we're just gonna be straight using just our black right here. So we're not gonna be using any other color, but we're just gonna be using our black. And the best way to move to get your pictures to be unified is with your significant other. I'm almost gonna talk here. With your significant other, make sure you guys lay down or have your canvas next to one another like this. So while one person is working on this side, the other person is working on this side, but making sure that your trees somewhat look like they're in one photo or one shot. The only difference here is going to be how your background looks like, right? But otherwise, everything on the foreground here, which are the trees, is going to somewhat line up together, or it's going to somewhat look like they're supposed to come together, okay? So we're going to go ahead and start, and how I do that, to make your silhouette trees. We're going to be making some lines. You guys can wait until I do it first, and you guys can follow after. Otherwise, you guys feel free to work at the same time I'm working. But I'm going to go ahead and lay down some lines. So I'm going to mark where one tree is going to be. I'm going to mark a smaller tree here. And you're going to create these lines here. If I want like a really tall tree, then I'll make my tree tall right here. I'm just marking the areas of how tall my trees are going to be, okay?
Is it better to have variation in sizes?
Yes, just like how I have it here. You guys can see, as you guys can see here, I have a different height. And this is just like mark making of where each of my trees are going to stand. So hopefully this technique is it's very simple. At least for me, simple. I know for you guys it's different.
I'm sure we can handle it.
But we're just going to be making marks like this, okay? So once you guys have all your marks laid out on your canvas here, to make our trees, we're going to be, remember, it's similar to how we do the stars, but the stars are more random, right? But for the trees, again, from the bottom of the trees, it's going to be much larger, right? As you can see here, it covers up more space. And as you go to the top, so as our trees go to the top, it creates that triangular shape, right? Or that Christmas tree shape. So that's what we're going to be going for. What I do is I use the edge, which should be the edge of your flat brush. Get some of your paint here on the edge, and you're going to be sort of going back and forth from left to right or horizontal. As I get smaller, it's going to get smaller up here. But as I'm just making marks, okay? You guys can see this. And all I'm doing with my brush is I'm just tapping it. You're doing like a tap, and you're letting the brush work make the marks for you. You're not trying to control how the marks of the tree looks like, but you're just using the edge or the flat side of your brush to make the mark for you for the tree. And I'm sort of just like, think of it like you're either dabbing onto your canvas, and you're just going back and forth, creating these small marks just using the brush itself.
Maisha, are we able to zoom in on that technique?
I could put my canvas up closer once I'm done with this first tree. So actually, I could just hold it up. Let me know if I'm too close. Am I too far? Too close? Is this good right here? I'm not too close? Closer?
No.
Over here? Okay. So you guys can see on my tree, I'm just going back and forth. I'm just letting the brush make the mark for me here. And all you're doing is going back and forth. You're going to use that same technique for every mark that you made that we've drawn on our canvas here. And we're going to do that same technique, going back and forth. Okay? Is everybody on the same page? Yep, and then as we get to the bottom of our trees, our brush marks can be a lot heavier because we're just kind of covering more ground to create that shadow, okay? But you don't need to fill in the whole entire thing on the bottom here black, but just like, your marks is just going to be a lot heavier than it is up here. Because if you come up to the top, your marks are much smaller. I'm going to move on to the next tree, do the same thing here, very small, and then let the brushwork do it for me. And then as I'm going down to the bottom, my brush marks is going to get wider. I'm going to fan it out more. And then as I get to the bottom here, my marks just get a little bit heavier. And then you have like a really nice silhouette of your tree. Right? And since this one's smaller, this one makes it look like I'm pushing it more to the background. So this one, a very tiny tree, or a happy tree. A little bit of a happy tree here. And then, same thing here. I'll move on to the next mark. I'm just moving back and forth. So, I mean, with this technique, like, I really enjoy this technique. I use it a lot in my paintings as well. If I'm doing like a nice, quick painting of a landscape, if I'm painting like right outside. Like with this technique, with this mark, it really helps capture just like not the structure, it really helps capture the foundation and structures of a tree. So you guys can see here, visually, you guys understand that it's a tree, right? So again, just going back and forth. And you guys could just take your time. I know that I'm dabbing like really fast, but that's just only because I'm just showing how you guys can do your trees, so I have to kind of move at a faster pace. But for you guys can just take your time, enjoy the small moments within your painting. Going back and forth. And just a quick reminder too, just remember to be, like this is where you and your spouse or significant other, that you guys are trying to match up your paintings together, okay? So just keep that in mind. The end result is your whole entire painting should almost be like a whole. The only difference is just going to be your background. Finishing up here. And again, once you're done with your painting, you guys can go ahead and just type in the chat done or ready for the next, just for the next steps in our painting. Because we're pretty much almost getting to our finishing stage with our painting. And again, I was going to reiterate, even after the painting, like say that once we're done, you guys can always add more and use your creativity to enjoy, have fun, just anything else you guys want to add. If there's anything that you see in your painting that you want to either improve or really just enjoy. The most important thing is you guys enjoying the painting itself. Otherwise, I'm pretty much done. I'm waiting until I get everybody's confirmation that we are all done with the silhouette of the trees. Okay?
Again, you can either drop a yes or a done in the chat, or you can leave a visual cue like a thumbs up for us if you are ready to move on. See, we got a couple of people who are ready. We're going to wait a little longer for the rest of us. Are we all ready? Again, just give us a thumbs up or write something in the chat. Thank you, Deborah. Alright, I think we're all set to resume.
Okay, guys. So now I'm going to be teaching you guys just like how to do, like if you guys want to do like some small birds in the background, adding like small birds just will help add to the whole entire piece itself. So again, it's just going to be the silhouette of the bird or the shadow of the bird. And I'm going to hold my painting up close to the camera. Make sure you let me know if I'm too close, am I not? Good. Right here. Good? Okay. So you guys can place your birds anywhere you want in the canvas. I'm going to place mine about right here. And to create these small silhouettes of the birds, I'm going to create one side of the wing. And then I'm going to paint the other side here. Okay? I'm going to do a second bird here. And we're just doing the wings of the bird. It's almost like a small miniature curve. And then you want to connect the other side of the wing. And maybe I want to see like there's like a small little dab here, just create more of like a dab.
Could you let us know what color you're using for the birds?
I'm just using black again. So black is just to get the silhouette and shadows of the bird. Okay. So I've made 2 birds here. I might add another one up here. And then you want to add one in the background. Just a smaller one, just to create.
Could you lift it a little bit to show it?
Good. So with the birds, you don't really need to be detailed. You're just creating the wings of the bird. You guys are just laying that into your paintings. The birds up here. So now that once you guys get done with that, I mean, I don't think it should take you guys that long if you guys just doing like just a couple birds. The next and final step to our piece, and it's going to take 2 to make it look complete. So, but if you're painting by yourself, then you can do. But the next step we're going to do is painting the heart. So if you're just painting by yourself, then you can do the whole entire heart within your canvas here. But if you're working with someone, either your spouse or your significant other, then make sure you guys are painting the heart together so that it brings the picture to a whole, right? The heart is going to be like, think of it like a cloud. So it's like a clouded heart. So the paint that we're going to be using is just white. And you don't need too much white. Just grab a good amount at the tip of the brush. And you want to make sure before you grab it, make sure your brush is already kind of watered down. Because when we do the heart, you don't want the paint to sit so thick or so heavily on the canvas where it doesn't look like it's a cloud. You know, it looks like you're just kind of just slapping paint onto the surface, which is not going to blend so well with the background. So if you guys can see up here from my top from my example, the white paint is almost transparent on the canvas. So like you can still see the background even though you have the clouds coming, or the heart-shaped cloud coming through. So again, make sure you work with your significant other, and what you guys want to do is start from the bottom, okay? So if I'm since I'm painting on the cool side, like for example, Maisha will be starting on the other side, and then I'm just again using the dabbing brush technique. I'm gonna curve it up here, and then I'm gonna start curving it inside. Okay, I'm gonna bring my heart on, and so I'm gonna come up. I'm gonna capture the curvature. I'm pretty sure all of us know how a heart looks like, right? I'm gonna bring it back down, and then she will meet me like on the other side. Okay, so that's just an example. Yep, and that's pretty much it. So once you guys are done with that step, I mean, you guys want to fix out any detail, go back in like I'm doing here. You guys can go ahead, just kind of pat. I'm just patting the cloud out just so like it creates more of a fluff in the heart. And all I'm just tapping the brush on the canvas, just so like it kind of creates more of that fluff within the cloud, so it's not so harsh. But then that's pretty much it for this whole entire piece. Once you guys are done with that, anything that you guys do after, you guys can go ahead and add more stuff. If you guys want to add more to the background, maybe you guys want to do some clouds, you guys can do that. Otherwise, this is all I have for the night. Are there any questions? So if there are no questions, I'd like to definitely thank all you guys for joining me here, just allowing me to show you guys, how to paint a really nice silhouette painting for Valentine's night. I really hope that you guys enjoy your night as well. Stay warm. It is pretty cold. And I think we're going to be having Angela come back up just to give the last few words to all of you guys here, okay? Thank you again.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you to Daniel for instructing us through this painting. For anyone who had maybe any technical difficulties watching the video, or would just like to go back and do this lovely painting again with a friend or another person, we will be sending a link to the video for you to rewatch for your viewing pleasure. We also are so excited to have our executive director, Contessa, joining us. Hello, Contessa. We were hoping to have her join us on a live stream to share a few words. Unfortunately, that just could not work because of the delay. But we do have a pre-recorded message with a few words of thanks from her, so we would like to pass it along to her. Thank you again for joining us.
That'll be too much. Could you announce a little closer, please?
We will be posting those words of thanks in the Facebook group, so we do encourage that you do check them out because our executive director works very hard making this organization possible, and she would love to just acknowledge you guys and thank you for coming. So thank you again. Have a great evening, everyone, and happy Valentines. Bye.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Contessa Lobley. I am the Executive Director and founder of T-Bay Art Center. I wanted to hop on to thank you. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Thank you for your support in our mission. And thank you just for being a part of our first Paint and Sip fundraiser. I also want to thank our sponsors. So these are items that that any of our VIP ticket holders receive this evening. So that's Trader Joe's, Sensational K, Pick and Save, and Goody Gourmet. I hope you all had a wonderful evening because I know I did. Please continue to support the arts, support Milwaukee arts, support our youth, and follow us on our all of our social media platforms, which is T-Bay Center. So Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as visit our website at www.tbay.org, and just get involved. Contact us if there's anything that interests you of being a part of what we're doing. We are celebrating over 21 years of providing art education programs to Milwaukee youth and organizations. So again, follow us. And again, I thank you all for your support, your donation, your time, and have a good evening and happy Valentine's Day.